And welcome back. As promised, I told you I would track down the 136th bishop from the 20th Episcopal District, a dear family friend and a mentor, and been a personal friend to me, a graduate of the University of South Carolina with a marketing degree. He was valedictorian of his high school straight from the big Clarendon County down in South Carolina. Has pastored so many churches, has more degrees and awards than I have hair on my head, a husband, a father, just so many things. Has really been an instrumental part of the overall growth of the AME Church. I'm so proud to welcome to the Christian Recorder a good South Carolina fellow, Bishop Ronnie Brailsford. Bishop, so good to see you.
Thank you. It's so very good to be here. Thank you.
Bishop, you are no stranger to the AME Church and those who are watching around the world, but you were recently elevated in the church as the new secretary, and you will be the incoming, as I understand it, president of the Council of Bishops in 2022. What does that say about your journey? Because I remember when you and my uncle started out together, and I like to refer to you as running partners in your pursuit of Episcopal service.
The four words would be, there is a God. Like your uncle, I don't think either one of us could ever have imagined him being in Swansea and me being in, even though they claim Somerton, South Carolina, it's really Cypress Branch, South Carolina. It was about 3 miles outside of Somerton. But to have grown up there and didn't even have the idea of, becoming a preacher, let alone becoming a bishop. And I can think about, just struggling with the call during my college days and finally saying yes to preaching. But again, not even thinking about, one day becoming a bishop. And now to see how God has just fast-tracked all of this and to see where we are is truly amazing. 5 years ago, your uncle and I, we were running as candidates trying to be elected.
That's right.
And here I am today, as you said, secretary of the council, and God be my helper, come June of 2022, I'll become president of the council of bishops. So it's been a blessing, and it's really been a very humbling experience. And I would say it really shows if you avail yourself to God, what God would do through his ability in your availability.
Bishop, give us some background color to the 20th Episcopal District, because those of us who are stateside may not always appreciate what the 20th Episcopal District is all about.
The 20th Episcopal District in AME Church, it consists of 5 countries, Malawi, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, Uganda, and Northwest Mozambique. Wow. So we are really in the southeastern region of on the continent of Africa. They are, first and foremost, some of the nicest people. When I say that, I really mean nicest people that I have ever met in my life. And their love for God and their commitment and love for the AME Church it's just amazing. And I say that because, in our culture, so many times when you hear people talking about their testimonies, talking about what God has done for them, and all of it's associated oftentimes with material things. There, the people can be hungry, but they're going to come in and worship God like, man, they have eaten 3 meals today. I mean, their focus is more on a vertical relationship with God than a horizontal relationship, with society and what have you. So it's been an amazing 5 years. I tell folks I'm really happy that the Lord blessed me that my first assignment was in the motherland. I mean, and then my wife, Reverend Carolyn Brailsford, she went with me. So it was never like I was away from home, because if I'm with her, I'm at home. So I was like, I took a bit of home with me, and we kind of romanced in Africa for a while. So it was a good journey. It was a hard journey. I mean, very challenging. Most people, when they look at the continent of Africa, for example, and they look at America, you get that distortion because they make America look about the size of Africa. And the truth of the matter is, you can sit America inside the continent of Africa, the United States of America, at least 2.5 to 3 times. So that's just how huge the continent is. And the countries I was in, I mean, it could take you hours upon hours just to travel from one church to the other, or one school to the other. But it was so amazing when I got there. I was praying about what God would have us to do, because the countries are very poor economically. 4 of the 5 countries, if you Google them today, they would be in the top 15 poorest countries in the world economically. But the richness of their relationship with God transcends their economic situation. Because they are an agrarian people, they are able to grow their food and what have you, as long as you don't have bad, cyclones and things of that nature. But when I got there, praying about what the ministry would be about, the Lord gave me 4 what I call core principles. They were very simple. He said, go to the people, love the people, serve the people, empower the people.
That's right.
And that's what we did. And so we started visiting churches, and I mean, going out in far-reaching, rural areas. I mean,
rural Africa and rural South Carolina is totally different.
Yes, big difference. So let's be clear about that. But we met people in villages and what have you, and for them, it was just so amazing that for them, many of them had never been able to travel to see a bishop or supervisor. And so when we came, the people would be celebrating on the one hand, but then they'd be crying on the other hand, but just tears of joy. So it was a wonderful experience, and God led us into doing a lot of different creative ministries that others came along beside us to make it impactful. Yeah.
Bishop, what do you hope to accomplish as secretary to the council? And when you assume the role of president, God willing, what do you hope to accomplish in your role as president?
Well, as secretary, my primary role, of course, is to, do things like keeping the minutes and making announcements and kind of keeping folks, well informed and organized and what have you. But it's really to support the vision of our present president. That's how I see my role.
That's right.
And the present president is Bishop E. Ann Henning Byfield.
We had her on last night.
Okay, she and I were very good friends, the family of friends, and we were actually elected together. So I see my role first and foremost is to be there for what the council needs, to help things move smoothly, but to support the vision that she has for the council at this time. Okay, my time will come.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
that's right.
Now as we fast forward as president of the council, Bishop, and I will even be doing this in my district. We often talk about Africa being probably the greatest opportunity for growth and development, but we've got to find ways to creatively put infrastructure in to make that a present reality. So there needs to be intentionality in terms of partnering in ministry and mission with the brothers and sisters there. The district that I was in, again, we went to the people, we partnered with the Wesley Foundation at the University of South Carolina. People like Tom Hall brought other folks over, doctors and dentists and ophthalmologists. There were people who had never seen, people in their 60s and 70s who had never seen a dentist or a doctor in their lifetime.
I can only imagine.
And we were able to, not only in some of the cities, but go to some of the rural areas and provide service. Dr. Jonathan Weaver brought his group over, and we were able to service well over 11,000 people just to provide medical attention and things of that nature. We have about 35 schools over there with over 20,000 students. Wow. Most people don't even know about it. They've never heard about it. Yeah. So, just to provide school supplies and things of that nature to the schools, we did that. And in fact, one school we're getting ready to build an assembly hall. What I don't plan for my 5 years over there to just be, okay, I'm out of Africa now, that's it. I like to be a bridge, if you will, to help get more districts involved.
A transitional figure.
A transitional figure that will help bring transformation to the church. I think of things like what would happen if each district in the United States partnered with a district over there, and that what that exchanging culture would really mean, and not just the bishop going over there, but taking other people over there, and how we could have that kind of impact. One of the things that we experienced that I was sharing with them, I said, you have a lot of people in places where there are no churches. So they took me up on it. And during those 5 years, they went out and planted 12 churches.
Still planting churches, even as a bishop.
Oh yeah, 16 other churches joined. So now we got 28 new churches. When's the last time in the United States you heard 28 new churches? Okay. So even here, as president, I would try to push us to look at what are not only the age shifts, but what are the demographic shifts that are taking place? Because if you really take an assessment, many of our churches are presently where the people used to be
Not where they are now.
and not moving to where the people are.
That's true.
So we've got to be intentional about planting churches. I'll give you this, and let me know if I'm talking to you.
Yeah, no, you're right. We get close.
We had a lady, this story just phenomenal, but it just shows what can happen. We were talking about house churches, because of course we know in the Bible, they started out with house churches.
Absolutely.
So there's a lady who asked my wife and I, she was a missionary, and she asked if we help send her to school, if we buy her a laptop. We did. She moved to the area, but there was no AME church there. So she was trying to get back 2 hours to get to her church, catching a minibus or what have you. And so the presiding elder suggested, why don't you start a prayer group? So at least you would have some people. She started a prayer group in her home. Long and short of it, 25 people became a part of the prayer group consistently. So we sent a minister there. The minister became the pastor for that area. In that area where there was no AME church, because of our presence, I went to the area, the presiding elder went to the area, we visited. When they had a cyclone and 900 families were displaced, we went in, we provided food for them. There's no FEMA.
That's right.
We provided food for them, we provided, emergency equipment. Today, in that area, we have 16 churches.
Look at God. That's empowerment.
That's empowerment. And so I would like to, as when my time comes, I'm gonna do it in my district. We're gonna model that prayerfully in the district that I'm in, and then perhaps that can be expanded in terms of the church as a whole.
That's so powerful, Bishop. Bishop, I know you're a busy man. I know you got stuff to do. I just want to borrow a few minutes of your time. Certainly, we will have you back as
All
we
right.
get closer to your time as president of the council. But thank you for your leadership. Thank you for what you're doing to expand the kingdom. Because it's not just about planting AME church. This is about planting seeds for the kingdom of God to grow.
Exactly.
And so we appreciate you. Thank you for what you're doing. And we'll see you all for our next round of dialogues.